Hello. Once again, it is I, OG Investigator, here doing a review of one of my favorite planes in War Thunder, the A6M Zero. And I'm going to be using the A6M 3 model for this. But the Zero is an interesting aircraft. It was originally developed out of requirements that the Japanese Navy had for their new aircraft carriers somewhere in the 1930s. So Japan was rapidly expanding, and they realized that the best way to project their force was to use these large aircraft carriers. And they developed 6 carriers called the Kido Butai. And the Kido Butai consisted of the Zuikaku, the Shokaku, the Soryu, the Hiryu, and the Akaga and Kagi. So, the Zero had to be a specific size. Well, the plane, let me put it to you like this. The Japanese Navy came with requirements to several aircraft industries about a fighter that needed to be a specific size, go a specific long distance, and it had to be good. So it had to outperform the opposition. And Mitsubishi Industries delivered on all these strict requirements with the Zero fighter. Now, the Zero, when it came out, was probably one of the most top-notch. It was definitely the most top-notch plane around. But especially in Southeast Asia, all of the other planes, even the land-based planes, could not compete with the Zero. Because the Zero had, it was made of extremely lightweight construction, which is what Mitsubishi wanted. It was the sacrifice Mitsubishi made to basically build a fighter that could travel so far. And the Zero ended up being incredibly maneuverable thanks to this lightweight construction. Reportedly, it's one of the most nimble fighters of World War II. The Zero was especially in the hands of an experienced pilot. And keep in mind, the Japanese had the most experienced naval pilots in the world at the start of World War II. And these naval pilots, they got plenty of experience from fighting all across Asia, really. They'd fought in Korea, they'd fought in China, they fought in Vietnam. They had taken on everybody. And the Japanese Navy, as a result of this, got into, they had perfected a very smooth operation tempo. So, basically everyone in the Japanese Navy was specially and trained for their jobs, and they were very good at them. And the Zero was at the start of World War II when, not necessarily at the start of the entry of the U.S. into the war when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. The best fighter that America had was the F-4F Wildcat. And compared to the Zero, the Wildcat was heavy, slow, and lumbering. And the Zero could outturn it. The Zero could outclimb it. The Zero could outperform it in every area except for one, and that was a high-speed dive. And Wildcat pilots knew this. So at the start of the war, the Zero, it was able to basically maneuver behind most Wildcats and kill them unless Wildcat pilots used all these kinds of tactics like the thatch weave to keep themselves from getting killed. It was basically the epitome of the phrase teamwork makes the dream work. So Wildcat pilots had to work with each other very closely and very tightly to actually gain an advantage or even just keep things even with Zero pilots. And the Japanese pilots were not stupid. They were some of the best trained naval pilots in the world at the time. So it was a pretty... the dogfights in World War II were obviously very vicious. Oh man, I think I got this guy. Okay, he's shooting at me. Okay, I'm just going to maneuver. Draw him into a maneuvering fight where I can get him. Oh, he's got a friend. There's a friend close by. Okay, I can't see him. Yeah, the Zero turns so tightly, your pilot will lock out from G very quickly. Okay, here we go. Where's his friend? There's his friend. Okay, his friend's closer. I'm on him. Okay, that was good. Okay, I'm drawing him into a turning fight, as you can see. And this is the Zero's advantage. So I'm going to eventually turn behind him. And I'm going to get him. I just have to be careful not to block out on G. Okay. I think... I blocked out on G. My mistake. Alright, here we go. I am on him, and I have to be careful because his friends are right above me. The Zero's main problem was that it was made out of basically some of the most lightweight materials any plane in World War II was made out of. Oh, crap. Got him. So it could outturn anybody, but if you got one hit, especially in the fuel tanks, which were not self-sealing fuel tanks. So a lot of planes in World War II used fuel tanks that were... Oh, there's a guy on me. He's up there. Okay. Okay. See, I've been able to outturn and outmaneuver everyone so far. And that's the shining quality of the Zero. Okay, I got him. Oh, damn. Okay, and now I'm on fire. So this might be... Okay, I've turned my engine off, and now my engine is... Oh, dang. This might be it. This Zero actually is lasting pretty long, because I still have control of the plane. I still have full control of the plane. My engine hasn't been knocked out. And... I've taken several hits, so this Zero is the one exception to this rule. Okay. I got 4 guys on me. Yeah, this... Okay, that particular Zero was able to endure quite a bit of suffering before being put out of its misery. So, that was interesting. Anyway, so, during the war, in the early stages of the war, the Japanese fighter pilots, in general, with the Zero, they felt they had a considerable advantage, and Wildcat pilots felt like they had a considerable disadvantage. But I'm going to use a later version of the Zero now. This is the A6M He, which is actually an upgraded version of the Zero. So if you'll notice, the Zero was one of the planes that lasted through the whole war, and that was primarily because the Japanese didn't have... they had a limited industry in the sense of it's very hard for them to change their production lines from one fighter to another. So the Japanese... they kept repeatedly thinking of replacing the Zero with a new fighter, and they had several options in development at the time. The problem was simply that trying to change over all their production lines to a new fighter would have been incredibly difficult. So that basically, another thing is their industry was limited. Like, what won World War II for the Allies, and in particular the United States, was that the United States could just produce planes, munitions, tanks, boats, ships, all kinds of things at rates that far exceeded Germany, Italy, and Japan. So we gave weapons to basically the British, the Soviets, everyone, like almost everyone in some way, shape, or form on the Allied side was using a bunch of American-made equipment. And the Japanese, they knew this. So they said we have to keep the production line of our fighters rolling. And the Zero, it wasn't actually that bad, even in the later stages of the war. The problem was actually that in the later stages of the war, all the experienced pilots had been killed. And the unique thing about what got most Zero aces killed, at least I would say most of the prominent ones, was actually that Zero pilots kept confusing a Hellcat for a Wildcat. So in 1943, the Hellcat made its debut because the Navy basically ran back to their aircraft industry after they came into contact with the Zero, and America was in general, they thought the Zero was maybe a copy of a German plane because they didn't think it was necessarily like a considerable threat. Admittedly, the American perception of the Japanese before the war was that they had sort of a maybe overconfident view, and the Japanese also had an even more overconfident view that they could overcome the United States in a quick, decisive war. But as the war dragged on, because the Japanese kept the Zero, what they did is they made a whole bunch of improvements to the Zero, and they pretty much maxed out the technology that they could use on the Zero. So if you'll notice, I'll go to X-ray view right here. They put 2 extra machine guns in the Zero. They put a bunch of more ammunition for the 20 millimeters because at the start of the war, the Zero was it had a sufficient weapons. It's just it didn't have a lot of ammunition. So the 20 millimeters in an A6M Zero together held 120 rounds, and that was enough for about 7 seconds of trigger pull. And the machine guns were pathetically awful. So Saburo Sakai, who is the most famous Japanese Zero ace pilot, he has reportedly said that the Zero, if he had gotten behind a Wildcat's tail, it could survive an impressive amount of lead before being brought down. So the Wildcat, it was built like a lumbering air tank. So he was surprised. The 20 millimeters could considerably quickly bring down a Wildcat, but the machine guns took like forever to shoot down a Wildcat. And Saburo Sakai, who was extremely instrumental in Japan's efforts to fight the U.S. Navy, he actually got taken out making one of the same mistakes that a Zero pilot. So the SBD Dauntless also looks very similar to a Wildcat, but the Wildcat does not have a rear gunner, and the SBD Dauntless has a twin 30 millimeter, or not 30 millimeter, 30 caliber machine gun with a gunner in the back. So Saburo Sakai was attacking an SBD Dauntless and thought it was a Wildcat, but needless to say, he got surprised when suddenly twin 30 millimeter or 30 caliber rounds started flying at him, and he got hit in the eye. But even then, Saburo Sakai, even after getting shot in the face and losing an eye, was so tough. He was able to turn his plane back and land it and go straight to medical treatment. So Saburo Sakai was a very he wrote a lot about his experiences during World War II, and one thing he said was that sending the Zero, he said that Japan definitely needed a new fighter near the end of the war, because one of the things he wrote to his superiors in describing the Zero against the Wildcat, he said something along the lines of, the Zero is like a very pretty girl, and the Wildcat, or no, not the Wildcat, the Hellcat is like a bull. You do not send a pretty girl to go out and fight a bull. And the main advantage that the Hellcat had was that it was just absolutely a beast at engine power. And it was also built like a tank. So the Hellcat could outclimb the Zero, and it could outrun the Zero. But it could not outturn the Zero still. But it could also take a whole bunch of damage that the Zero simply was not able to take. And 650 caliber machine guns, when they're shooting at a lightweight aircraft like the Zero, 650 caliber heavy machine guns will absolutely rip apart a Zero with very little effort. Okay, I think I got myself into a pickle here. So see this guy right here? He is okay, so they had the altitude advantage on me. They almost pulled the exact same I'll put myself in a position to almost get the exact same tactic that Hellcat pilots used on Zeros to get them, and that is they climb up high using their superior climb rate, and then they dive down using the boom and zoom tactic. Okay, that Focke-Wulf 190 may be coming down on me. The Focke-Wulf 190 is a boom and zoom fighter, so I have to be careful about that. Oh, yeah, he sees me. He's going for me. Okay, here we go. Okay, he's following me. I'm going to see if I turn. He's going to turn with me, I bet. Or maybe he's going for it. Yep, he's turning with me. He wants a piece of me. Oh, dang. Yep. So that is one of the... Oh, that is a Focke-Wulf 190D. Yeah. The Zero's climb rate in the latter stages of the war was, I would say, on the weaker side of World War II fighters. So the one thing about the Zero that was interesting is that it was technically an old fighter at the start of the war, but it was still good. Like, it was still good enough because it was when it was created initially, it was like a whole leap ahead of every other plane. The thing is, even near the latter stages of the war, the Zero was still a considerably good plane. It was just, it no longer had a clear advantage. So World War II U.S. Navy pilots, I'm going to go back to the A6M3 for a second, which is currently my favorite version of the Zero. So World War II U.S. Navy pilots, they said that near the end of the war, this is Corsair and Hellcat pilots now, that because they had killed so many of the experienced Japanese Navy pilots, that it wasn't necessarily that the Zero was an insufficient aircraft near the end of the war. It still had some clear advantages over the Corsair and the Hellcat, mainly slow speed maneuverability. But the problem was that these new pilots that the Japanese were putting in the air, they were all inexperienced, and there's even some Corsair and Hellcat pilots writing in reports that the Japanese would have actually gotten more kills on them if the Zero pilots, these newer ones, were more aggressive and trying to draw them into turning fights. So even near the end of the war, the Hellcats and the Corsair pilots were saying, like, you know, these Japanese, the Zero's still not a bad plane, and it could still, in the hands of a capable pilot, be used in large quantities to take down, considerable amount of Hellcat and Corsair pilots. Like, it could have performed excellent if the pilots knew what they were doing. It's just near the end of the war, there weren't enough pilots that knew what they were doing. Aside from that, the A6M 5 and the A6M 6, which I think were the far later versions of the Zero, the Japanese had been putting in all kinds of they had done everything they could to upgrade the Zero, so they put in a bunch of superchargers in the engine. And if you'll notice, so this is the early version of the Zero. In the engine cowling only has like one or two, it has two exhausts at the bottom. The A6M5 that I used earlier had exhaust put all around the engine cowling, because the Japanese, they were like, struggling to crank out more power from this engine. And the Japanese, near the near the latter stages of the war, they did manage to improve the speed and the power of the Zero. What they really just needed were experienced pilots. But that, like, and to give you a depth of just how experienced their pilots were. So the Japanese Navy, at the start of World War II, they were used to conducting operations that spanned almost like half the continent of Europe, like just in one go, like one bombing mission. Just flying from like I believe the distance from Rabaul to okay, I'm not sure which Japanese air base it was, but it was like Japanese carrier pilots were basically flying the entire distance of half of Europe just to bomb Guadalcanal and then fly back. And since their planes were so lightweight, they basically had very good fuel economy and range. Okay, I think this XP-50 might be the first opponent I meet in this match. I'm going to take down this XP-50. If I can draw him into a turning fight. That is the name of the game with the Zero. Draw your enemy into a turning fight, and then... Oh, he might actually be dumb. He might be dumb. Never mind, he's dumb. Oh, someone else got him before me. But, yeah. Why did he not climb? Like, the XP-50, your goal is to climb. That guy did not do that at all. I was like, this guy is not using his plane the right way. Which, I mean, if you're a War Thunder player, you're like, oh, look at that, free XP. Alright, I think there's a dogfight breaking out over here. And I'm going to jump in on this. Mainly, I want to take down one of these guys before I jump in on it, because I know for a fact if they get high over me, it's bad juju for the Zero. Okay, I think I got him. Got him. Okay, that was the end of that. He is too far out. Oh no, he's not that far out. Okay. I'm gonna dive. Oh. Yep, there's a... Okay, I didn't even see that guy. Okay, this BF-109. See, here's the thing about knowing when to dive and when to stay high. If you draw an enemy from high altitude to low altitude, in general, he has to climb again and gain a lot of... Okay, I'm going to take down this P-51C. I think I got him. Got him again. So, if you draw an enemy down from a high altitude, that's still advantage to your team. And that BF-109 is still on me. Okay. Now he gone. Alright, low speed, low altitude. This is my area of expertise. Yeah, there we go. See, draw him into a turning fight. Okay, where is he now? Okay. That was good teamwork on the part of my team. Excellent, dog. Oh dang, he crashed. Well, he got two into the zone. Two into the zone there. Situational awareness is incredibly important. P-51C, or I believe that's a C. Oh, he brought him down too. And that BF-109 is running. But there's one more enemy up high here. F4U. Oh, arch nemesis. And he's diving in on me, World War II style, doing the boom and zoom. Here we go. I have just enough cannon ammo for this. Or is he diving in on me or that yak? Oh, he's going for the yak. Maybe he was going for me initially, and then I turned, and he's like, ah, bad angle. Dove in on the yak. Okay, I'm going to go advance on the F4U. Unless the 109 gets too close. Okay, he's actually doing what you should be doing in an F4U Corsair. Boom and zoom. Dive in on the enemy. Shoot. And if you miss, climb back up and just keep going. So I'm going to go for the 109. Oh, is he? Nope, he's turning around. He is turning around. I think he actually wants to go after me. It's just this yak is keeping him occupied. See, now he's climbed so much he's stalled out and run out of energy. Yeah, he wants a piece of me. Okay, let's go. Oh, I'm out of cannon ammo. So the Corsair especially was also durable, and the Hellcat was also durable, just like the this is gonna take forever. I'm gonna be doing the Saburo Sakai right now. Okay, I overshot him. Okay, he actually could have got me there. Alright. Well played. Well played, Yak. Well played, Yak. Oh, Focke-Wulf 190. Is he diving in on me? I don't think so. I will say this. At the beginning of the early stages of playing War Thunder, the early Zeros are some of the best fighters at their BR. The problem is, as you get into the later stages, just like in World War II, which I think is kind of nice because it's kind of historically accurate, the BR of other planes, the higher the BR Zeros, are generally at a slight disadvantage. Oh, I love shooting the trains. Here we go. I can just, you probably use these machine guns for this. And now they jammed. So the Zero was essentially one of the longest enduring planes of World War II. And I would say it did actually, for the most part, even at the end of the war, it was still good. It's just Japan needed better pilots. Ultimate weakness of Japan was taking out their pilots. Dang. Yeah, aside from that, I would say the Zero also was a, it's strange how the U.S. Navy, in order to save carrier space on board our carriers, we had this absolute requirement that all planes have to be able to fold their wings. And we still have that today on U.S. Navy carriers. Like, all U.S. Navy planes can fold their wings or, fold their propeller blades, like the V-22, in some way, shape, or form to save space on a carrier. Meanwhile, the Japanese, they had a totally different approach, and that was make the fighter as small as possible. Which that helped with another thing, is that the Zero was not easy to hit because it was a small, fast, lightweight plane. I guess if you look at carrier numbers, though, so in latter stages of the war, the U.S. Navy carriers were, they could hold more planes for their size. Like, Japanese carriers were huge. They kept building these huge, monstrous carriers. Like, Shokaku and Zuikaku were enormously large, heavy aircraft carriers. And they held roughly the same capacity as smaller-sized U.S. Navy aircraft carriers. And the U.S. Navy, I think that had to do with the wings being folded on U.S. Navy carriers, because the Japanese, they did not want to fold the wings of their planes. I don't know, maybe they just thought it was like tacky or something. I don't know what they were thinking. Because if you folded the wings of, if you somehow made the Zero's wings able to be folded, I bet you could have had a whole lot more Zeros on board carriers. Yeah, he's doing what I'm doing. Just turn into lower your speed. That is also another Japanese plane. Here we go. Aside from that, the Japanese Zero during the latter stages of the war, I think it's very telling that in a lot of cases, I think they realized that their pilots weren't able to compete in air-to-air dogfights with the newer, more experienced Corsair and Hellcat pilots. So once they realized that, I think that might have been somewhere around the time they started using the Zeros in kamikaze attacks. Because they said, well, if a Zero can sacrifice, if we could sacrifice one Zero for a whole ship, or just taking a ship out of commission, that would be better. And I remember one historical documentary I was watching that basically said the Japanese using the kamikaze, you have to think of it as them using a terrible, horrific weapon of last resort. And because that's how it looked to the U.S. Navy. So there was U.S. Navy pilots that were simply unable to imagine what was going on in the mind of a Japanese pilot willing to basically just load his plane up with bombs and dive as fast as he could towards a U.S. Navy ship. They were like, I cannot fathom how they could be brought to this point. Oh, we're getting bombed. Someone is bombing us, and I believe it might have been that guy over there. But I don't see any. He's pretty far away. Is he the only guy left? No, there's 4 others. Okay. Actually, we're losing. They got 4, we got 2. It's just me and him. Okay, I'm gonna send him a message. It just got interesting. Up, he's out. He's gonna outrun me. Yeah, Japan's army, surprisingly enough, they did not like the Japanese Navy. I mean, I wouldn't say they didn't like them in the sense that they weren't willing to work with them for the sake of Japan, but the Japanese army and the Japanese Navy really did not get along well together, and they didn't coordinate a lot of their tactics or battles together pretty well. So there's like numerous instances of the Japanese Navy telling the Japanese army, like, hey, we need aircraft or we need supplies at this point, at this time. And the Japanese army would drop the ball. That's not to say that it wasn't unique to them, because there's also instances of the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Army having instances like that. Okay, I'm going to need a dogfight with this 109. I got to turn him, draw him into a turning fight. Here we go. It's the name of the game in the Zero. Draw him into a turning fight and then engage. Oh, we got another one. Okay, he did a good boom and zoom tactic on us. I cannot find him now. It looks like it's... Yeah, I'm sticking together with this guy. Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah, that Focke-Wulf 190, he's going to do a boom and zoom on us too. Alright. Yeah. This guy is, you know... Yeah, we got a boom and zoomer. Okay. I'll break away and start a fight. Alright. Low altitude. There. I dodged his attack, but now... Okay. It's a... Oh, damn, he got me. Okay, where's... Now I'm going to stick to this guy, and now we got a 2-on-1. And we could probably get him. Because his friend boom and zoomed away, but his friend boom and zoomed too far. Alright, this is good. Brought him down. Good teamwork. Where is my friend? Okay, he's going out that way. Is he going for this B-17? Alright, I'll stick with him. Oh, nope, the B-17 changed course. Yeah, he saw us going for him and he turned away. This is an interesting match. And I'm not necessarily, I don't think I'm damaged enough to need to head back. Even though my plane looks worse than it is. Yeah, I still have engine performance. I still have total control over the plane. I'm not, you know, jiving and twisting or anything like that. This is not bad. So, yeah, I think we can actually catch this B-17. It's another Japanese, that's a Japanese army plane, the Ki-61 that he's flying over there. So, we are defying the historical instances of the Japanese Navy and Army not working well together this one time. It's a single act of desperation. I'm at max WEP throttle, and this guy is still, this B-17 is going to take forever to catch up to. So anyway, back to the Japanese Army and the Japanese Navy not working well together. So they had sort of a gigantic rivalry, the same way that you see the U.S. Navy, U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. Air Force, and U.S. Army have with each other. The thing is, I think back then, the U.S. Army and U.S. Navy also had a gigantic rivalry. And it was the same with the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Marines. So there was like one story of a U.S. Navy sailor meeting his brother out in the islands, and he hugged his brother, who was a U.S. Marine, and reportedly, like, the Navy sailors went up to him and they're like, "Dude, why are you hugging that guy? He's a Marine." And the Navy sailor said something like, "Oh, he's my brother, man. What are you gonna do?" So it was sort of like they had like this huge rivalry, but I think the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps got to working better with each other, primarily because the U.S. Marine Corps sort of wanted to be, they said, we want our own equipment to do what the U.S. Navy can do most of the time. And I think the U.S. Marines were traumatized by being abandoned by the Navy on Guadalcanal. Okay, now it's a fight. Okay, I gotta be careful not to get hit, because it looks like he's after him too. I need to measure how far away I need to aim with my machine guns. Alright. Oh damn, he's shooting at me. Okay, I got some cannon hits on him. He got some good cannon shots on me. Oh damn. Okay, I need to turn. Okay, now I'm hit too much. Now I am injured too much for this. The Zero is paper mache in terms of fighter planes. Us trying to take on this B-17 may not have been the brightest thing. And I believe the Ki-61 is also pretty, yeah, now he's outrunning me because my plane's, you know, shot up. When your plane is shot up, it creates drag, and I am messed up. I am really messed up. Yeah, he's outrunning. He's barely, okay, I'm barely outrunning him now. Nice. Nice teamwork once again. I need to add this guy to a squad. Alright. I need to add this guy to a squad. Oh, okay. We can get the final guy. Oh, no, not the final guy. There's one more. Okay, I'm going to stick with him even though I'm wounded. Because even if he gets jumped, if he's alone, it's better if he has one. It's better for one pilot and one wounded plane to defend from a single plane jumping you. Then I think we might actually try and get the jump on this guy, though. Because we're still outrunning him. He looks like he started from low altitude. Yeah, he just took off. Because there's their air base. And oh my goodness, their air base is shooting at me. Even from this distance. This is getting interesting. We hanging on by a thread, but we still hanging there. I just wish I could catch up to him. Because my engine performance... Wait, attention to the map? What's he pointing to? Oh, I see him. There's a bomber out there. Okay, so... Yeah. This is getting tense. Thing is, I don't know if I have enough fuel. I got 1 minute and 42 seconds of fuel. I maybe got enough fuel to make one pass at them, and then I gotta run to the runway. I cannot use WEP. I need to message the guy. I'm wounded. Yeah. This is, I got 1 minute of fuel. This is not looking good. Well, there's only 2 minutes and 20 seconds left of this game. So, I guess this pass either wins or loses. But right now it looks like, I don't know, it's not looking good. I'm almost out of fuel. Yeah. Actually, I might not even have enough fuel to make it back. Okay, I might have to cut the throttle so I consume a little less fuel here. See, does that slow the fuel consumption? Is this slowing it down? Oh man, no it isn't, I don't think. Which means I'm probably leaking fuel. I might as well just go full throttle. Okay. Well, that was a good try and cost me some speed. Some much valuable and needed speed. But it looks like this is it for me. R.I.P. this A6M Zero, which took an incredible amount of punishment also. Yeah, for some reason, whenever I fly the A6M3, it's like, I guess my Zero, by some stroke of bizarre luck, is able to handle more punishment, and that's it, I'm out of fuel. That's it, I'm out of fuel. Oh man, I'm done. I'm gonna have to glide my way into a gun pass, and I have to hope he stays low altitude enough for me to get him.
Let's keep the pressure on. Victory is close.
Alright, I'm gonna try and dive. This is it. This is my last run. My last hurrah. I'm throwing a Hail Mary here. This guy, Sergeant 507. I salute to you. It was an honor, brother. Fighting on the same side. Yeah, he got, yeah, it's over. So this is game over. I don't know if we won or not because the points look pretty even. Did we win? Did we win? That's all I want to know. Oh, we won anyway. Oh, that was beautiful. That was a beautiful match. Well done. Well done, Sergeant 507. I'm going to send him a PM telling him that was a beautiful match. Excellent teamwork. Well done. Anyway, so that is the A6M Zero in a nutshell. And it has been a pleasure reviewing this plane for you. So this is OG Investigator signing out. I shall be reviewing more planes in the future. And y'all take care now.